What's up everybody, it's Rondy. Let's get this out of the way. This video might be long, I'm not sure, so I'm gonna try not to BS you at all. This is gonna be a complete breakdown of the mechanics of Streets of Rage, going from 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think the goal is part history lesson, part it'll make you a better Streets of Rage player. I really don't know. So let me go ahead and just go through the video, and it'll make sense while I'm doing it. First things first, Streets of Rage operates on the concept of character balance. So in the very first game, we have Axel, Adam, and Blaze. We have Axel, who is always our basic character. His stats are balanced. You have Adam, who is much slower, but also stronger. And you have Blaze, who is faster, but deals less damage. And that is a core concept that translates through all of these Streets of Rage games. You have balanced characters, slower, stronger characters, and a character who is more agile, but is weaker. Awesome. Let's go ahead and show off some Streets of Rage 1 specific stuff. Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3 are all Sega Genesis games, and they're designed to be played with a 3-button controller. So you have a jump button, you have an attack button, and you have a special button. In Streets of Rage 1, the special button on every character calls the cops. And what they do is send out this big area of effect attack that damages all of the enemies on screen. Generally, you want to hold this off to the boss fight because you only get one of them, so mashing that button isn't going to make them come back. That's Streets of Rage 1. Your jump button, your attack button, and call the cops. Alright, and with these buttons, your core mechanics are, you have a jump attack. Doesn't matter if you move or stay still, there's your jump attack. Now if you press jump and attack at the exact same time, you get a back attack. So every character's got a standard jab combo, a jump attack, and a back attack. Here's what that looks like on every character. Lastly, I'm going to explain what you can do to an opponent that you have in a grab. You have a few options. You've got forward with an attack, you've got neutral attack, you've also got two kinds of throw. If you've grabbed the enemy from the front, you can press the D-pad away from them with the attack button and it'll throw them away like that. Alternatively, if you're facing away from your opponent, just press the attack button and it'll do a grab that way. If you grab an enemy from the front and want to flip to the other side, you can hit the jump button and do it just like so. When hitting forward with attack while grabbing an opponent, you actually have 3 hits, so you might want to make use of those. A nice strategy to use is actually using your forward attack twice before flipping over and doing the grab. And that is Streets of Rage. That's going to be the longest part of this video because as I go to Streets of Rage 2 and 3 and 4, all those core concepts are going to be the same. Alright, part 2, what's new? In Streets of Rage 2, your special button doesn't call the cops. It's a unique attack that consumes health when used. It's a defensive special and an offensive special. Hitting the special button without moving is your defensive special. It's used to get a bunch of enemies off of you. If you're getting overwhelmed, you hit that button and it knocks them away. Your offensive special is while moving forward and hitting the special button. That one is used for dealing large amounts of damage to a single target or in a singular direction. Your other attack is on your forward B, or your forward attack, which is a unique attack like that. These button inputs are going to be the same across every character. You're just going to get something different when you use them. Also new to Streets of Rage 2 is the Haymaker. Hold the attack button briefly, character flashes in this game that didn't have in the original. Release, and that's a get off me. Your jump kick is also different in Streets of Rage 2. You've got 3 versions of it. You have, of course, your moving jump kick, which is your, hey, get the heck off me, bro. And then you've got a neutral jump kick, which is also a get the heck off me, but actually deals more damage. It's just a bit more difficult to use. Lastly, you've got one where you hold the down button on the direction pad while you're doing a jump attack. And that one is great for starting combos because it doesn't knock the opponent away. It staggers them or kind of stuns them, so you can use it to start combos. As a special note on Max, while he does have the basic attacks that you'd expect to have on a character, he doesn't have the ability to grab an opponent and then flip sides by jumping over their head. Instead, when Max grabs enemies, he jumps while holding them, and you have a few unique throw options there. I'll show you what they are. When grabbing an opponent from the front, you can actually jump into the air with them and hit the attack button to slam them down. Getting behind enemies is a bit trickier. I recommend using this attack, the jumping down attack, because it stuns and lets you pass through them. And when you're like this, you've got an amazing move there, as well as a standard suplex. Rounding out the Streets of Rage 2 roster is Skate. He has all the stuff you'd expect to have, but people love him most of all because of this. With Skate, you can sprint. You can run to your heart's content, through levels, through enemies, and live your best life. One additional note about Skate's throw though, you actually have to hit the attack button while flipping over their head. And that's Streets of Rage 2. You've got your character balance again, all the fundamentals from Streets of Rage 1, then you've got the addition of the defensive and offensive specials, as well as your forward B, your blitz attack, and that's that. Moving on to my favorite, Streets of Rage 3. Let's go, Axel. Finally, we're here at Streets of Rage 3. This will be very quick. Everything from 2 is here. Every variant of your jump attack, your haymaker, your back attack, your defensive and offensive specials. The key change is you can now move quickly by pressing down, down, and up. You can also sprint on any character, not just Skate. Game changer. Another addition to Streets of Rage 3 is that your forward attack, your blitz attack, is modified when holding a weapon. This is unique to Streets of Rage 3. What isn't is the ability to throw weapons, which I didn't cover, but ever since Streets of Rage 1, your back attack, which is jump and attack together, is used to throw a weapon if you're holding a weapon. Added to Streets of Rage 4 is the ability to catch a thrown weapon by hitting the attack button as it comes back to you, but I was going to cross that bridge when we got there. Figured I should mention that you can throw weapons dating all the way back to Streets of Rage 1. Anyway, let me go ahead and show off a few of the other characters in Streets of Rage 3 as quickly as I possibly can. As I already demonstrated with Axel, back attacks, every variant of your jump attack, your defensive and offensive specials have mostly remained unchanged. You get the tumble, you get the sprint. I will show you the things that are different. I also won't show you every character's forward B while holding a weapon. I did Blazes already, so I'll insert that here. That was fun. Let me show you what's different in Streets of Rage 3. One difference to Skate, I'm sorry, you're gonna hate it, but his offensive special has changed. It used to be this, but now it's this. Dr. Zan is brand new to Streets of Rage, debuting in 3. He still has a standard jab combo, he still has a jumping down, a jumping neutral, a jumping forward, a forward B, an A button, a forward A button, and a back attack. These characters all handle pretty much the same way. Zan is unique in one regard, and that's what happens when he picks up a weapon. Any weapon that Zan picks up is going to turn into a ball of light, and you can bowl with that ball of light by throwing it like you would throw any other weapon, the back attack command, square and X, or attack and jump. One of Zan's hobbies is bowling, so it's kind of neat that they put this into the game, but yeah, that's what he does, that's his thing. Finishing out Streets of Rage 3 is actually a Streets of Rage 2 character. Shiva was the second to last boss in Streets of Rage 2. He became an unlockable character in Streets of Rage 3. He still has all the basic stuff from part 2 though, your back attack, your jumping attack, jumping down, jumping moving, your forward A, your standard A, as well as your forward B. So he's equipped with Streets of Rage 2 mechanics. He doesn't have the up, down that lets you roll from Streets of Rage 3. Additionally, he can't sprint indefinitely, he just does a little bit of a brief skate. No pun intended. Also, and I'm not kidding, as a proud martial artist, Shiva cannot pick up weapons. I guess he refuses to use them because of some kind of pride kind of thing. I have no idea. And if you're still there, we have just taken the journey from 1991's Streets of Rage all the way up to whenever the hell Streets of Rage 3 came out. What I do know is that 26 years after Streets of Rage 3, a masterpiece, we finally got this game here, Streets of Rage 4, and 9-year-old me couldn't be any more excited. Let's dive in with Axel for the last run-through of the Streets of Rage, I don't know, history lesson. A lot of things are still the same, but that's remarkable and it's deeply nostalgic. So we're going to do a roll call. Back attack, check. A button, awesome. Forward and A button, still got it. Neutral, down, forward, forward, B. Seeing those and seeing that they're preserved and that they're in this game 26 years later in life is, I can't even describe that to you. If you didn't grow up with these games, it doesn't hit quite that hard, but everything is there in place and updated for this generation. I want to call your attention to the star that's right under my score there. This is a new move called the star move, and it's done by pressing the attack button in conjunction with the special button. Right? Now that star is gone. So it's kind of similar to the Call the Cops function from Streets of Rage 1. It's something that you get as a one-off. In this game, there are ways to earn it back, but for the most part, you want to use it in boss battles or just use it sparingly. Alright, that's great and all, but sadly not all as well. We've lost two key things from Streets of Rage 3. One is the ability to sprint. I can no longer sprint, so I am actually slower in this game than I was in Streets of Rage 3 26 years ago, and it's less fun. I also can't double tap up or down to roll to the upper or lower portions of the screen. These two things being missing actually bothers me quite a bit, and it's why even in this game, Streets of Rage 3 Axel is my favorite character to play as. So the basic stuff is still there, but you don't have access to those mobility options. In their place, I guess we've gotten something neat. You also, in addition to having the defensive special and offensive special, you've got an aerial special. So that's kind of cool. The bulk of the changes are just mechanical ones. So you've got this wall bounce mechanic that's been added to this game. Characters will bounce off the wall. That didn't happen in Streets of Rage 1, 2, or 3. The juggle state that characters are being put in is completely new as well. So in Streets of Rage 2 and 3, once a character was airborne, you wouldn't be able to attack that character while they were in the air. Also, yes, characters wouldn't bounce off the wall and come back to you for combo setup. That's all new to this game in addition to the star move. So I lost a tumble, I lost a sprint capability, but I did get juggling, which is quite nice, and I did get star moves, which are pretty cool. And yeah, I got wall bounces, which is all well and good. I guess my only issue with that is that since those are mechanical to the game, they've extended that same courtesy to the Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3 characters. So even if you're playing as a Streets of Rage 1, 2, or 3 character, the opponents are still going to bounce off the wall, you're still going to be able to juggle airborne enemies, and you can still catch thrown weapons. So none of that is distinctly Streets of Rage 4 character specific. It is new to this game, but I'm still in the same position where I'd rather use Streets of Rage 3 Axel to take advantage of Streets of Rage 4 mechanics. In fact, they've even retroactively added star moves to the older characters. Unfortunately, mobility isn't where my concerns end. Yes, I can no longer sprint and roll on Streets of Rage 4 Axel, but I've noticed that some of my basic bread and butter combos don't connect on the newer version of Axel. Let me give you an example of something that I like to do with this one. Let's see how the old man fares. You get the idea. Now, of course, a case could be made about leveraging the unique strengths of the Streets of Rage 4 characters, with their juggles and different setups like that. It's not quite the same, in my opinion, as having solid bread and butter tactics to use, and a lot of these options are going to cost you health, unfortunately, but they are nice to look at, and, it's cool that they're there. But simple things like wall bounces and juggles are still available on the original characters. So yes, you can do some neat stuff, it's not all terrible, but fundamentally I do still prefer Streets of Rage 3 Axel. Blaze is back, she's got her back attack, her down, her neutral, her over, her defensive special, offensive special, and blitz attack have all made their return. Remember in Streets of Rage 4 we also get air specials and we get star moves. And if you remember Adam, he's part of the original trio from Streets of Rage 1, but wasn't playable in Streets of Rage 2 or 3. So his toolkit is entirely new pretty much. He now has a jumping neutral, which hits in both directions. He has his down, his over, he has his defensive special, his offensive special. What you saw earlier was actually his haymaker, and he has his, forward B, his blitz attack. Something also neat on Adam is that he has this little quick step. Being that he's a boxer, I guess he's just got this extra tool, and it's actually quite nice. It lets you get behind enemies for some shenanigans. His jumping special is like so, and his star move is there. Next up, and our first brand new Streets of Rage 4 character is Cherry Hunter. She's actually the daughter of Adam Hunter from the original Streets of Rage, and she is the niece of Skate Hunter. Adam and Skate are brothers. This is Adam's daughter. Cool, now everybody's met each other. This is her back attack, this is her neutral jump, this is her down jump, this is her forward, and what do we have? Yeah, I did back attack, this is defensive special, this is offensive special, this is forward attack, and because she is, I guess, kind of this game's Skate, she has the ability to run. Axel, Adam, and Blaze do not. Star move, aerial super. And she again has another Skate callback on her throw. Closing out this entire video is Floyd Araya, not to be confused with Flo Rida. He's got some bionic arms. They were actually made for him by Dr. Zan from Streets of Rage 3, so I guess that's how he's here. Back attack, kind of chill. Regular neutral thing, down, neutral, over. Defensive special. Offensive special actually pulls enemies in. I'll show that off in a minute. Aerial special is a stomp, which you can continue to do as long as you feel like paying the health for it. And so that's kind of neat. And he's similar to Max from Streets of Rage 2, the wrestler, in that his grab operates rather uniquely. You can walk around while carrying enemies and even grab a second enemy to slam them into each other. You also have the ability to, while holding an enemy, jump and slam them on the ground. So he's kind of an ode to Max. If you want to get crafty, you can chain these things together. So that's fun. And then he's got the coolest looking star move, which is just a freaking Kamehameha wave. Or I guess it's more like a repulsor cannon or something. The big thing that War Machine and Iron Man do in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. You know what I'm talking about. But that's Floyd, and I think that's a wrap on all these characters here. And I guess that about wraps up this video. If you watched it all the way through, or even just a little bit, just know that you have my utmost appreciation. The Streets of Rage franchise means a lot to me, and it is one of the main reasons that I even started playing video games, which, as you can see, has led to me making a YouTube channel about them and all sorts of different kinds of things. I used to play Streets of Rage 1 and 2 and 3 for hundreds of hours with my older brother growing up. So this is deeply nostalgic for me, and I would have never thought that we'd get a Streets of Rage 4. I literally used to dream about one day this game coming out, and it's been 26 years in a row that hasn't been true. Until now, until today, and I actually have Streets of Rage 4, so if you're at all curious about the game, I definitely recommend picking it up. It's like 30 bucks, whatever. If you had no interest before, maybe you are now. If you're a lapsed fan or player from the past, maybe this is giving you enough information to work with. Regardless, again, thank you so very much for watching this video, and I've been Rondy Wooten. You can comment, like, subscribe, and share if you'd like. Take care, everybody.